Every day we encounter countless people in our lives. Some make us angry while others upset us for no reason. But imagine, what if no one could ever annoy you? What if, regardless of what anyone said or how they acted, you could always remain calm, strong, and peaceful? That would completely change your life, wouldn't it? This is exactly the secret that Stoic philosophy reveals. In this video, we will explore these secrets. You will learn how to stay composed in any situation without getting angry, how to protect your power without letting others control you, and most importantly, how to develop inner calm and mental resilience. Watch until the end, because the insights I'm sharing will give your life an entirely new perspective. If you want to build a stronger mindset and never get angry at anyone, subscribe to the channel now, like and share the video, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with new content. If you're ready, let's get started. One of life's greatest lessons is this: people do not act the way you want them to. They act according to their own character. The moment you understand this, you begin to gain significant control over your anger. Often, we mistakenly think that someone is doing something to upset us on purpose, but in reality, it's completely different. People act according to their own thoughts, values, and upbringing. Their words and actions often have nothing to do with you. For example, imagine someone gives you an angry look on the street. Immediately, a voice inside you says, "Why did they look at me like that? Do they have a problem with me?" But maybe that person is simply stressed from their day or having a bad day. In that moment, you face a choice. Will you take their behavior personally and get upset? Or will you think, "This is their character. It has nothing to do with me," and remain calm? Stoics explain this very simply. External events are beyond our control, but our reactions are entirely within our control. In other words, when an event occurs, you have two options: to get angry or to stay calm. The most important skill here is self-control. But how? Let's break it down step by step. 1. Take a deep breath. When a wave of anger comes, your body automatically tenses. Taking a few deep breaths sends a signal to your brain: there is no danger. Relax. This small step protects you from an emotional outburst. 2. Analyze the situation. Ask yourself, is this really about me? Or is it just a reflection of this person's inner world? Most of the time, the answer is clear. It has nothing to do with you. This mindset acts like water extinguishing the flames of anger. 3. Respond calmly and thoughtfully. Getting angry is easy, but responding calmly takes great strength. When you speak calmly, the other person often softens their tone. Even if they don't, you maintain your inner peace. You can apply this in all areas of life. At home, at work, and in relationships with friends. Imagine someone accuses you. If you respond immediately with anger, the situation escalates. But if you respond calmly, control remains on your side. Remember, no one is born to make you angry. People's actions are a reflection of their own character. Your power lies in how you react to those actions. If you make this a guiding philosophy in your life, you will no longer lose your energy over small things. Instead, you will be recognized as calm, stable, and strong. This is the first and most important step toward mental peace. Now let's move on to the second crucial step: learning to control our emotions. In fact, anger, irritation, and distress are not direct results of events themselves. They are all products of our thoughts. Stoics explained this very clearly. It is not events that disturb people, but the meaning they give to events. In other words, an event is just an event, but we attach a label to it: good, bad, insulting, unfair, and so on. And then we experience the emotion created by that label. For example, imagine a colleague criticizes your idea. The event itself is simple: someone said something. But if you interpret it as, "they tried to belittle me," you will get angry. If you interpret it as, "they just shared their opinion," you will remain calm. In short, anger is not caused by the event itself, but by the meaning you give to it. Here, learn to ask yourself the key questions. 1. Is this really important to me? Every time you get angry, pause and reflect. How important will this event be in your life in a month or even a year? Most of the time, the answer is, it won't matter at all. So why waste your energy on it right now? 2. What will this person's behavior give me? If someone's rude words or actions add no value to your life, why lose your inner calm over them? On the contrary, not getting upset in such situations is your advantage. By staying composed, you protect your inner balance as a strong person. These questions act like a pause button in your mind. Normally, emotions explode immediately, but asking these questions allows you to analyze the emotion, which automatically helps you calm down. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine you are walking on the street and someone cuts you off in their car. The usual reaction is to get angry, honk, maybe even shout. But if you ask yourself, is this event really important for my future life? Does this person's action affect my values or goals? The answer is simple, no. In that moment, staying calm becomes much easier. Here's the secret. You don't need to suppress your anger, you need to change your thinking. Every emotion is the result of a thought formed in your mind. When your thought changes, your emotion changes too. The Stoics' approach gives us a powerful tool, the ability to manage our emotions. You may feel anger, irritation, or frustration in an instant, but if you immediately examine your thoughts and change the meaning you give to the event, your feeling changes as well. This simple technique can free you from many unnecessary stresses in life. Remember, getting angry is your choice. You often cannot change reality, but you can always change your perspective on it. As you do this, you become the master of your emotions, not their servant. This is the second step toward mental calm, exploring your thoughts, and learning to view events differently. One of the biggest traps people fall into is tying their self-worth to others' words and actions. Someone praises you, you feel valuable. Someone criticizes you, you feel small. But remember, your worth is never dependent on others' opinions. The Stoics believed your worth does not depend on external influences. It lies within your inner world. In other words, no matter how many people praise or criticize you, it does not change your true value. True value resides in your character, principles, and behavior. So why do we get angry? Because when someone says something, we automatically give their words too much importance. If that word triggers a fear of losing our value, we become upset. At the root of anger lies a lack of self-confidence. The solution is clear. Learn to protect your own worth. 1. Know your values. If you know your principles clearly, others' words cannot shake you. For example, if honesty is a core value for you, even if someone calls you a liar, you won't take it personally. You know the truth, it's not true. 2. Don't compromise your principles. At various points in life, people will try to drag you into their games. Someone will try to anger you. Someone else will provoke you. And another will try to belittle you. If you are committed to your principles, staying calm in these situations becomes easy. You know your worth does not change based on someone else's mistakes. 3. Don't lose your worth because of others' errors. A person's rudeness, misbehavior, or injustice does not diminish your value. On the contrary, by protecting your worth in that moment, you leave their mistakes on them. The Stoics' approach was simple. Another person's fault is not your burden. For example, imagine someone speaks harshly to you at work. If you respond with immediate anger, you take on their mistake as your own. But if you stay calm, the fault remains with them. You maintain both your worth and your superiority. Remember, getting angry is like turning your inner strength into a button in someone else's hands. If someone can make you angry with just a word, it means your sense of worth is still dependent on their influence. But when you find your value within yourself, that button is no longer in their control. True freedom is when no one's words, actions, or criticism can change how you see yourself. Your worth comes from within and strengthens only through your own choices. This third step makes you emotionally stronger, because once you understand that others do not define your value, there is no serious reason left to get angry. Often, we think that people do things to deliberately make us angry. In reality, this is rarely the case. Everyone has their own inner world, problems, fears, and weaknesses. People often act under the influence of their internal pain. Stoic philosophy teaches everyone carries their own pain, and that shapes their reactions. In other words, someone's behavior toward you usually has more to do with what is happening inside them than with you. For example, if a colleague is rude to you, your first thought might be, "They are disrespecting me," and naturally you feel anger. But if you change your perspective slightly and think, maybe they are having a tough day, or under stress, staying calm becomes much easier. This is not self-deception. It is simply approaching the situation with empathy. Empathy provides two important powers. 1. You do not take another person's mistakes onto yourself. If someone acts angrily, it reflects their internal tension. Once you understand this, instead of reacting with anger, you respond with understanding. This gives you inner peace. 2. You respond with compassion rather than anger. Anger weakens you, but compassion strengthens you. By practicing empathy, you begin to see situations from a broader perspective. Let's look at a practical example. Suppose someone bumps into you rudely on a bus. If your immediate thought is, "Why are they being so disrespectful?" you will feel angry. But if you tell yourself, "Perhaps this person has had a very difficult day," or maybe they are taking a sick relative to the hospital, this thought instantly calms you. Here's the truth: most people do not intend to harm you. They are simply burdened by their own inner struggles, which sometimes spill over onto others. Understanding this gives you tremendous control over your anger. Remember, empathy does not mean justifying someone else's mistakes. On the contrary, it is a way to protect your inner strength. Approaching situations with empathy and understanding gives you two benefits. First, you avoid anger, and second, your relationships with others become healthier. You no longer respond from anger, but from a calm and understanding perspective. This approach strengthens you internally and earns respect externally. People naturally open up and show more respect to someone who is understanding. Ultimately, empathy and understanding are not just for others. They are most necessary for yourself. They give you the power to remain unbothered, calm, and most importantly, to protect your inner peace. It is crucial to accept one truth: no one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes and has weaknesses. If you learn to accept your own weaknesses, others' mistakes and flaws will bother you less. Often, our anger comes from expecting perfection from others. We want them to always act correctly, speak correctly. Yet we ourselves make mistakes every day. Sometimes we speak without thinking, sometimes we unintentionally upset someone. Remembering this makes us more compassionate toward others. The Stoics said, "Anger and irritation arise from a person's weakness." If you get angry at every small thing, it is a sign of your internal weakness. Conversely, a strong and self-aware person does not feel the need to get angry, because they understand that everyone makes mistakes, and that is natural. So what does it mean to accept weaknesses? 1. Recognize your own weaknesses. Be honest with yourself. You get angry sometimes and you hurt others sometimes. If you accept this, you will no longer get angry at others for the same mistakes. You will understand, I am human, and so is everyone else. 2. Work on self-improvement. Accepting your weaknesses does not mean ignoring them. On the contrary, treat them as opportunities for growth. For example, if you have a quick temper, you can reduce it through breathing techniques, meditation, or simply having an internal dialogue with yourself. Working on yourself in small daily steps strengthens your inner power. 3. Find inner calm. As you accept your weaknesses, you become more humble. A humble person is more tolerant of others' mistakes. This inner calm gives you the ability to stay composed in any situation. For example, if a friend is late for a meeting and you have not accepted your own weaknesses, you might immediately think, "How could they make me wait?" and feel angry. But if you remember that you sometimes run late too, you will show understanding instead. You will choose patience over anger. Here's an important point. Not getting angry at others' mistakes begins with forgiveness. Being harsh toward others ultimately means being harsh on yourself. But by accepting weaknesses, you understand both yourself and others better. In the end, you realize that anger and irritation do not make life easier, they make it harder. Staying calm, however, strengthens you. The more you work on yourself and find inner peace, the harder it becomes to get angry at others. You understand that we are all human and make mistakes, and this understanding acts as a shield, protecting you from waves of anger. Sometimes controlling anger requires more than just thought. The body and mind are interconnected. If your brain is in constant chaos, even minor events will irritate you. That's why Stoics used special exercises to calm the mind and maintain inner balance. These exercises are simple but incredibly effective. 1. Deep breathing. When you get angry, your body tenses and your breath speeds up, sending a signal to the brain, danger. This increases anger. By taking a few deep breaths, you send the opposite signal. There is no danger. Everything is fine. For example, when you feel anger rising, simply take 5 deep breaths. You will notice your mind beginning to calm and your emotions gradually settling. 2. Keeping a daily journal. One of the Stoics' favorite exercises. Spend a few minutes each day writing down events, the emotions they triggered, and your reactions. This habit gives you tremendous power because it transfers emotions onto paper, allowing you to see them objectively. Often you realize that what made you angry was not so significant, helping you remain calm in similar future situations. 3. Analyzing events objectively. Stoics trained themselves to view events from a distance. For example, if someone irritates you, immediately ask yourself, if someone else experienced this, how would I see it? This question takes you out of the event and gives you a more objective perspective. You realize it's just a minor incident, not worth your anger. These 3 simple methods, deep breathing, journaling, and analyzing events, create a calm zone in your mind. Once you enter this zone, no one can touch your anger, because you have learned to think and analyze before reacting. The key point is this: no one can irritate or anger you unless you allow it. By learning to calm your mind, you stop giving that permission. Remember, these exercises show their true power only when practiced consistently. The mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. The more you practice, the faster you calm down and control your emotions. By incorporating this step into your life, you will notice that small things no longer affect you. You gain more ease, more balance, and more inner strength. One of the most powerful principles of Stoic philosophy is this: much of life is beyond our control, but our reactions are always in our hands. Think about it: what people say about you, the weather, what happens at work, or how someone behaves, none of these are completely under your control. But how you respond to them, that is entirely your choice. A person who gets angry essentially hands their power over to someone else. For example, if someone insults you and you immediately become angry, it means you've already lost control, because another person's actions are controlling your emotions. The Stoics said, true power is the power that is not in someone else's hands. In other words, only you can have control over your emotions, your reactions, and your inner calm. Here are a few simple rules to apply this principle in your life. 1. Pause and think. Whenever someone makes you angry, don't react immediately. Take a short pause of 5 seconds. This brief pause gives you the opportunity to assess the situation. 2. Ask yourself, is this event within my control or not? If it's not, there is no point in getting upset. 3. Choose the right victory. True victory is not about silencing someone or gaining the upper hand. True victory is maintaining your calm. If you didn't get angry, then you have already won. As you make this a habit, you'll notice that no matter how hard people try to provoke you, you no longer react as before. Their words and actions lose their power because you have learned to manage yourself. Remember, losing control is a sign of weakness, but maintaining control is a sign of strength. If you keep this principle in mind in every moment of life, you will be the master of your temper, not others. One of the hardest skills in life is not to get angry or irritated. By nature, we react quickly to emotions, but Stoic philosophy teaches us that our response to every event in life is entirely in our hands. In other words, the words, actions, and behaviors of others cannot determine your inner calm. Only you can. Think about it. The small arguments, minor annoyances, and mistakes of others each day drain your energy and time. If these little things make you angry, it means you've given away a large portion of your inner strength. But now we've learned that this power can be reclaimed. Stoic philosophy shows that not getting angry or irritated is a skill, not a talent, but a habit that requires experience and consistent practice. With this skill, you will approach stress and worries in life with greater calm. Avoid losing your energy over the mistakes or bad behavior of others. Protect your inner strength and mental tranquility. Remember, the power to react is entirely in your hands. No one can force you to get angry. No one can provoke you unless you allow it. To gain this power, take small steps every day. Breathe deeply. Observe events objectively. Analyze your thoughts, and prioritize your inner calm. Each time you apply these principles, you'll notice that life becomes calmer, more balanced, and more under your control. Getting angry over others' words will become difficult, almost impossible. You will become stronger, more stable, and freer. Remember, inner calm is in your hands, mental tranquility is in your hands, and the greatest power in life is this calm. You cannot change others' behavior, but you can control yourself, and that alone will completely transform your life. If this video was helpful, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell to stay updated on new videos. These small steps will bring you continuous knowledge and motivation. Choose calmness in your life, protect your energy, and remember, true power is not in the hands of others, it is in your inner peace.